Good morning. How's everyone doing? Today we have Jamie McQuaid and Jessica Hyde. How are y'all? How was y'all's weekend? Good?
Good. Yeah,
Good.
Halloween, man.
Yes, Halloween has come and gone. Now oh, well, I would say now it's time for Thanksgiving, but Jamie, I know y'all
Yeah,
already
we're
had
past that
Thanksgiving.
already.
We
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
already
y'all are
had
way past
Thanksgiving.
that. This week we are kicking off week 5. So we are going with Ali Hadi's Case 2 Linux image. So we are leaving Android behind onto bigger and better things. We have Linux, and this week we actually have Jamie issuing the first question out. Before we get to that, though, Ali Hadi did actually a talk for us at the Magnet Virtual Summit earlier this year in May. Make sure you go check that out. You can find his talk over on our website, magnetforensics.com, as well as I want to talk about today how we're going to be revealing some of our winners. So we're going to have a monthly winner. So in the next week or so, I'm going to be doing all the points tally and I will award the first month's winnings. We are also doing a random draw from each week for people who are participating. So whether or not you got the question right, as long as you tried, we're going to be doing a random draw off of that. You are actually going to win either a t-shirt or hoodie that is a limited edition Magnet Weekly CTF design. We are also going to post those on our Magnet Swag store here in the near future as well. So for anyone else who might be interested, but that being said, the random winners will get that automatically. So that being said, I'll be issuing that out very, very soon with the random winners. So make sure to pay attention, see if we identify you as one of those lucky winners. And we will then, like I said, be also doing a blog, doing a recap of the first month's Android questions. That'll include things such as how we solved our problems, but also a lot of the write-ups from the community as well. So that'll be coming out in the near future. But with that, let's go ahead and Jessica, I think it's time for week 3's recap on your question. So if you want to walk us through that, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely. So psyched too because I really enjoyed the write-ups on this one. Read-ups. I read them. You guys wrote them. So let me show you how I thought of it. So I hope everyone can see my screen. The question was, which exit did the device user pass that could have been taken for cargo? Now, this question, I did limit the attempts to 3, and that was so folks didn't just guess and go at it. And I originally said on this video, which is why we're really happy when people watch these videos, that if you checked out the Android versus iOS presentation, that in itself was a hint that I had done with Chris Vance. So when I'm thinking of this question, it's which exit did the device user pass that could have been taken for cargo? My first step is going to be, I've got the image loaded in. Actually, let me make sure I'm only looking at the Android image, which is what we used in this scenario. And then I'm going to hop over to the map view. So I'm going to just go over to world map view, and I'm going to see that we have 53 hits, and we've got some on the west coast of the US, some on the east coast, and some up here in Norway. Now, what I really like to do whenever I'm on map view is I like to hop in the details card, because that's going to tell me a little bit about what kind of images I'm seeing. And what's really great here is you can go ahead and push through this. Now, if for some reason you're not working online, I'll give a hint for that. You can actually do an export to KMZ of all of these. So if you weren't working online and couldn't see these, you could just shift click all of these, create an export and create an KMZ. Now, I did not mean to go into that location, so let's scroll way back out. So we've got stuff in Norway and stuff in the US, and we know we're kind of looking for something cargo-y. To me, that's a key that maybe we're talking about an airline. Obviously, this device somehow got from North America to Europe. So I'm going to go ahead and just look at these ones here. And I'm going to kind of scroll, and I notice these MVIMGs. Now, the hint was to look at that presentation. And if you looked at that presentation, there was a lot of talk about, or I spoke specifically about how these MVIMGs actually have MP4s embedded with them that you can carve out. So I'm actually just going to limit my search here of what I'm looking at to just be the ones that are MVIMG. So I'm applying a quick little filter. And now I'm down to 8 hits. These 2 in Jersey and these 6 here. And this one's the first one I see that might be of interest. I mean, maybe we're talking about cargo. I actually got some people, and meaning a truck. I got some people who actually gave the answer of HL18, which I thought was interesting. But the question was, which exit did did the device user could have taken for cargo? So I'm just going to point in, and if I look at that, I do see we've got some exits here for 2E and 2W, and I would say those were the most common answers that were submitted. So I think you guys were kind of on the right track there. However, if we go ahead and pull out, we'll see that that's actually not near an airport or anything. So let's look at some of the other answers. And you did have 3 attempts, so I actually kind of expected people to go there first. Now, these 3 pictures all seem to be at the same place. And these ones are near an airport. So I'm just going to shift click. And by the way, if you want to see which 3 they are, if you click here on this, you can actually see that you can go between those 3 cards. And you can see those videos that are all at that location that, again, is right here at the Oslo airport. So I'm going to go ahead and just tag those 3 of interest. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to export them. So I would just tag them so I can get back to them later. And then I will go ahead and save those artifacts too. And if you do this, you can go ahead and just save them. Now, I've already done that. I created that folder archive. Now, what I did next was I just opened them each up and carved them in a hex editor, just looked for the FTYP header and pulled out everything before that. Then I was able to, from there, have this carved video. And I can actually just click it and go ahead and play it here, but that might not be easy to work with from an evidentiary value. So what I did was I went ahead and added it to my case in Axia. And so if we go back here to column view real quick, and I'm going to clear all of our current filters. I'm going to go ahead for the evidence and now select what I brought in, which was this carve from MVIMG. When I go ahead and bring in this carved photo and look at my media, I can see the video, and now I can see the tense. I actually see a sign here. This might be of interest, and I can play it. Now that's really quick and it's hard to deal with. It's a little bit small. So if I jump here and go full screen, I can play it and see it, but what's more important is I can turn around and I can reduce the speed. So I'm going to reduce the speed to 1/4. Go ahead and play it. And then, whoop, I just saw a sign. So I'm going to go ahead and start it again. And this time I'm going to pause it on that screen. And when I pause it, I can have it here. Now, something cool you can do is if you right click here, you can always take a snapshot and you can do that in Axiom and save that out. So now I have it, but this looks like an F16, and a lot of you put an F16. Now, I'm going to let you know I did accept F16, but this isn't the true answer. What I want to do now that I know that this is definitely the picture of interest is I want to go back and look at that geolocation data. I'm just going to go ahead and put a tag on this picture as well because it's important to me. And I'm going to go ahead and clear all my filters so I've got all of my evidence, which includes my Android image. And then I'm just going to flip to those tags and comments for all of those things that I've bookmarked that were of interest. And I'm going to change back to world map view again. Now, remember before how we zoomed in and we had that picture that where we could see that highway exit for 1 and 2? I'm going to go ahead and look at that correct image we just looked at. Zoom out a little bit. And now I see that that says E16. Which makes sense. The bottom part of that F was covered. Now I'm going to let you know something. These same blocks were used for exit numbers in the US, but thanks to the research you guys shared with me, I learned that that's not actually an exit number in Europe. In Norway, that's actually the highway number, E16. But the question would still hold. You would take the exit for E16 to get to cargo hold. And so that's the solve. I hope you all enjoyed it.
That is awesome. Definitely did it a little bit differently than when I was walking through. So that I like that a lot. Very cool. Awesome. All right. So now, Jamie, it's time for you. We just did Jess's review. Now it's time for you to issue out the week 5 challenge. So as of now, the week 4 challenge, which was my Android question, is now offline and yours is now available. So if you will you at least start us off with a piece of trivia that everyone can guess for some bonus points, and then we'll roll into the week 5 question.
Trivia. I'm not great at trivia, so we'll start with something super easy because I feel like I made the question too hard, so this is gonna counteract that. I don't know, but we'll see. Trivia can be before I started with Magnet, I did corporate investigations. What company did I work for?
All right, what company did Jamie work for before coming to Magnet? You have one guess, post it in the Discord. First person to get it gets their bonus points this week. Let's go ahead and hear the week 5 Linux question.
All right, so I did this, and I have no idea if it's going to be super hard or super easy for some folk, but we'll see. We'll see where it takes us. The question is, from that Linux image, what was the original file name for block? Oh, it's a big long number. 107374185. Really fancy name number. So what was the original file name for that? You're going to have to take a few steps to get this. I'll be honest. I definitely learned a few new things when I did it, and hopefully some people may know how to do it already, but it's definitely going to be a new task for a few of you. Hopefully you can find it the same way I did.
Awesome. So the week 5 challenge is up, and it is had a loop around the block. That is going to be Jamie McQuaid's question. So you'll have until
Had a
next Monday.
loop.
Had a loop around the block. Yep. And we're
Oh,
looking for a file name with the block number.
Can I put a shout out to some people who were more clever than I was with last week?
By
If
all
that's okay.
means. Yeah.
So I will tell you that some of the interesting write-ups. So the question last week was titled Cargo Hold, and we asked you to find the exit for cargo. And the question for trivia last week, not where did JB work, but last week it was what does Heather farm? And the answers was snails. There were some people who thought that that was a hint in terms of the word escargot. And someone near the Newark airport location where the device had been found a road called South Cargo Road, which is escargot, and put that in as the answer. And I just want to say you're all more brilliant than me in terms of that. I was not thinking that hard. It was not that tied together. And I was just blown away. So lots of credit to both Kevin Pagano and Joshua James, who both like really thought that that's where I had gone with that trivia. It was not the correct answer, but it was really, really cool. And I love reading these write-ups. People come to these things so amazingly.
Yes, I've loved the write-ups, and man, I feel bad about my trivia question now. Just what was my favorite, GIF compared to like the in-depth analysis they did for yours.
Yeah, I
So
should have tried harder on this, apparently.
That's impressive.
Brought them to the wrong answer, but I thought it was brilliant. I was like, wow, guys, thanks for giving me way more credit than I deserve.
No one gave me that much credit.
I'll be completely honest. There's no correlation between my trivia question and the actual CTF question. I'll put it out there right now.
My question midweek though was tied to it because I was trying to get people to get the MP4. So I asked about the audio subtype and what the subtype was, which would have forced them to look at MP4 headers. So that actually was an intentional clue, but no one picked up that one was. And also
Excellent.
shout outs to the people writing tools and custom artifacts, if we could.
Yes.
There's been so many neat ones that are coming in, and if you looked at this, you would have realized that there wasn't an MP4 carver on the custom artifact or in Axiom. So we've got some cool submissions there and some cool people writing some neat scripts. So thank you for those.
And we'll definitely be following up with the project team who handles all of that. Obviously, they have to validate, and they're getting a bunch in. So, give us a little bit of time on that, but you will be getting your points awarded for sure on that, especially before I do the end of the month tally, just to make sure that we have accurate scores for the first month. Who do you have on Cash Up tomorrow?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Tomorrow on Cash Up, I have Rob Duhart, which I guess there's a little tie into Jamie's question because Jamie asked about where he worked previously. But Rob Duhart and I actually worked somewhere previously together. And I'm sure because Rob has been such an integral part of my career. But what's really interesting about Rob, and I hope people tune in, is if you are looking at ways to branch into broader cybersecurity, get into the CISO office, et cetera, with a DFIR background, Rob is a person to listen to. Rob is somebody who grew out of DFIR and went into the larger InfoSec community. So I think it's a different spin than usual. And I think it'll be really, really interesting.
And you also mentioned that Ali Hadi has a talk coming up. And I just want to thank him again for letting us use his images for this month. But yeah, can you tell us a little more about that?
Sure. November 18th is OSDFCon. the Open Source Digital Forensics Conference, which is always one of my favorite conferences to attend and go to. And this year it's virtual and free. This is put on by Basis Technology, but everything at that conference is open source. Alexis Brignoni, who's been a guest on Cash Up, written a whole bunch of custom artifacts and writes ALEAP and iLeap. He'll be doing a presentation on ALEAP, iLeap. But Ali Hadi will be doing a presentation on Linux forensics while we're doing Linux Forensics Week. You might want to check out that talk. There's not much out there in terms of Linux support the way there is for other operating systems. So I'm really excited about this month's challenges and about all of us getting a little step up in our Linux forensic skills.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. Well, with that, it's another week. So everyone, good luck again. And we'll be back next Monday for the next Linux question. And I'll be doing my review of my questions. So with that, everyone, have a good week. We'll see you.
Bye, all.
Later.